I started getting into real estate because I really wanted to invest, but to get into the marketing world, it was just me trying to get outside of my job. My background is mechanical engineer. In order for me to make $350,000, I have to be here in this company for 15, 20 years. And for me, that didn't make sense. Don't get me wrong, what I learned back then, now I use it by building software. One of my mentors told me, be well known for your company to do only one thing really fucking good. So we became really good at Facebook ads and Instagram ads.
Welcome back to another episode of the Austin Zabak Show. Today we have Esteban Andrade on the show, and super excited to make this one happen. You know, Esteban's somebody that we've been working to get on the show for a couple of months, and we finally got our schedules to align. You're here today, and you've done some really cool stuff. You know, you literally went from having zero money at all whatsoever, I believe growing up in Colombia, correct me if I'm wrong, to scaling multiple seven-figure companies, a lot of which actually helps, real estate entrepreneurs, right? Wholesalers, maybe even real estate agents. We'll talk about that on the show. And you're doing some really cool stuff. And, obviously we have a huge audience of real estate entrepreneurs that watch my show, right? I've been in real estate for 11 years. And I feel like we're going to have a great conversation about how you actually help people scale and what your companies do in the marketplace. And appreciate you being on, man.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about like the beginning, right? What got you into kind of the landscape that you're in? Like, where did that come from?
Yeah, so I started getting into real estate because I really wanted to invest, but to get into the marketing world, it was just me trying to get outside of my job.
Yeah.
Like I used to work for Chrysler Engineering, so my background is mechanical engineer, and but I was always really good with people, and I felt stuck being in that specific role. Hey, don't get me wrong. Right now, what I learned back then, now I use it by building software.
Yeah.
All right. But before it was like, okay, in order for me to make $350,000, I have to be here in this company for 15, 20 years. And for me, that didn't make sense. And like, there's no way I'll just do increments of 1 to 5%, maximum 10% every year. Like that doesn't make sense. So I started pursuing what Gary Vaynerchuk used to say back in the day, because he used to be very, very, very viral back in the day, is like, hey, find a passion or find something that, will make you hustle and work hard.
Yeah.
So while I was, in lunch or after work, before I got to work, I used to be obsessed about podcasts and obsessed about like learning from people like those. And I got caught up by Gary Vaynerchuk, Grant Cardone, Frank Kern, and Robert Kiyosaki. Will know about that book, so it expanded your mind about real estate. And eventually I started getting into the real estate flipping in Detroit. That's when I used to, because I moved from Canada to the U.S., and that was the first city that kind of opened the arms in the U.S., Detroit, working in the automotive industry. And there was a lot of houses. You go there, a lot of houses that need a lot of love.
Yeah,
like
right.
they're messed up, right? That city used to be the top 3 city in the U.S., and then now it's just burned down houses. So I was like, okay, there's opportunity here. And so I started getting into that with a few business partners. One that knew how to manage crews. The other one that was very systemized, organized, like he knew how to do project management, and me is just like finding the deals. But I made a huge mistake in my first deals that I found because I didn't do my research, and I tried to buy from the land bank in Detroit, which is basically owned by the city, and we were super ready about doing like all this flipping and all this stuff, and it crushed my dreams that we couldn't flip this house to make money. We had to buy it and hold it. That was the rule that the land bank had. Like, you had to buy it and hold it for 3 years. So we were like, okay, we're not going to make money here. We lost a lot of money, right?
And you didn't know that till after you bought it?
Nope.
Wow.
You
just didn't know any better.
You don't look, you don't look in the details.
Yeah.
And, but then I was like, okay, I still want to get into real estate. And I've been learning about marketing. I've been learning about how to run ads.
Yeah.
How can I do this? So that's when my buddy from he's actually one of the top agencies from Hyros that Hyros uses.
Yep.
He actually told me, hey, come work with me. Let's do 50-50, and I'll teach you about lead generation. And after that, I learned how to generate leads through Facebook. That's everything I learned how to do. And I did like from gym owners to lawyers to HVAC companies to real estate agents to real estate investors. But then I was like, I just want to do this for real estate.
Right.
I want to do this for flippers. There's no one out there. And you would go to Facebook and see comments, oh, Facebook ads for real estate investors is hard.
Yeah.
Like, I can't figure it out. Like, the cost per lead is way too expensive compared to real estate agents. So I'm like, okay, let me just hone into this really, really hard and get my first clients. And my first clients were actually one of the biggest flippers in Detroit.
Wow.
Thankfully. So they used to buy about 350 houses a year. So that was pretty good.
Yep.
And they used to sell it to, I call it people that don't know better, but they still have a lot of money. They were big investors, big money people in Argentina. People in Argentina would buy houses in Detroit at a huge market, and they didn't know any better about like what the prices are.
Yep.
So these flippers would have a property management company, a realty company, a flipping company, a wholesaling company, and they will just promote a lot in Argentina to bring in international investors at a huge market. So like houses that they would get for pennies in the dollars, and they would, the house price would be like 50,000. That would make sense. They would sell it to these investors for like 75K. So they would make even more money, right?
Yeah.
And I've found them a lot of houses because they used to just rely on auctions, and that was like the best way to get into this space.
And then it just evolved from there.
Evolved from there. I started getting people like now nationwide.
Sure.
Because the beginning was very local.
Yep.
Generating leads in Detroit actually was very easy because there's a lot of houses.
Yeah, no competition probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. And we'll get into then how it evolved into, what it looks like today, right? My first question for you is like on Meta, how has it evolved over time, right? Because you said that, you would read the comments and people are like, oh, it's so hard, cost per lead so high. I feel like you still hear all that crap, right? Yeah. Like nothing has changed in that aspect of things. And I feel like there's even more people than ever doing it. So like what allows you to have success when so many other people fail?
Obsession. I think that's the biggest differentiator because one thing I actually learned from Alex Ramosi, even from my mother, is that if you do something, never expect that something is going to give you quick results. It's always going to pan out in the future, right? From whether my mom did a lot of work to get us to Canada the right way, the legal way, right?
Sure.
She waited 2 years in order for us to get to Canada and give us the opportunity to move to another country. Now, we didn't need to. We were good in Colombia, but she knew that there was a long-term result.
Yeah.
So she worked very hard to do all the paperwork. My dad supported with all of that stuff. And at the end, it pans out. And to be honest, a lot of people don't see those things in the long term. And when you become obsessed about things, that's when you find out the details.
Yep.
That's when you become more resourceful. That's when you ultimately are on top of the game,
Sure.
right? And right now, Facebook has changed a lot dramatically. And the algorithm for paid ads, it's even quote unquote harder.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Totally. And the cost has gone up, right? There's way more competition. You're competing against a ton of people. What I want to know is why pick, you say oh, I really wanted to go deep into real estate, right?
Yes.
Why not pest control? Why not HVAC? Why not why real estate? Why was that the niche where you were like, I want to go all in?
Yeah. So like I said, I always wanted to flip houses and invest.
So you were interested in that.
However, now I'm not interested in flipping at all.
Now you're like, I ain't doing that crap.
It just sucks.
Yeah. Well, it's not scalable.
Yeah, and it's just something I don't like doing.
Yeah.
Right. For me, it takes way too long to get something going and too many moving parts and my brain doesn't work that way. Maybe if I had a business partner that ultimately is good at that, I would do it. But right now, the way that I like it is high ticket, short term sales cycles. Right. And wholesale is perfect for that. It can become lengthy, but it's perfect for that. For anyone that wants to get started into real estate, it's perfect for that. It also generates cash flow. I have invested a lot of money into real estate already, whether that's syndication, single families, or properties that my clients sell it to me on seller finance, right? And I've invested a lot because I learned the one scale, which is finding the deals, right? Finding
so important.
Leads. It is
the most important part of the entire process. People forget about that. They're like, I need to find cash buyers. I need to do that. I'm like, no, you need to find the deal. And you're phenomenal at that.
Yes. So we became really good at doing that with advertising. Now, our first ever muscle was Facebook ads and Instagram ads. Back in the day, you asked me, like, how was it? Well, the thing back in the day actually was much easier than right now. Okay. You would put together, I remember one of my high converting ads was the city of Detroit, like Skyview. And it just says, we pay cash for houses on yellow. And it was just like leads at, $10, $15 cost per lead. And then, 70% of those people will book an appointment. And then out of those people that book an appointment, 1 out of 4 will close or something like that. So it was pretty good.
Yeah, it's really good.
But you also have to understand that it's not only the ad, right? It's about, so people become more sophisticated over time. I'm talking about homeowners, right? They become more sophisticated and ultra aware. So a lot of people have been running ads for a long time. A lot of people have been cold calling, sending direct mail. All right. And there's a lot of more wholesalers in the marketplace. Which means that they will see more of these ads. They will see more of this direct mail. They'll get more cold call. They'll be like AI, sophistication is at all-time high. All right. And awareness is also at all-time high, which means that in order to differentiate yourself is actually how they perceive you as that brand, as that person that is going to do something different, whether that's with your offer or the angle that you actually hit them. And then not only that, as soon as they have clicked on the ad right now today, if you do this experiment, if you are a homeowner, you click on an ad from a wholesaler or a flipper, and they will see every single ad after that will be a competitor. Every single one of them. Before, it used to be like one competitor, and then after that, maybe shoes, maybe shirts, maybe another competitor. It had gaps between competitors. Right now, the algorithm is that Facebook wants for more people, for more conversions. And that means that you have to position your content in a different way. The ads that you run cannot be so static, they cannot be so repetitive, and they need to change. They need to be different at all.
Like right video ads?
The video ads, whether that's, look, photo ads and static ads work really, really well.
Do they?
The video ads are the ones that are going to really differentiate yourself from the competition. And you now have to essentially run ads right after they have clicked that first ad, because you will see that our competitors are going to be running the same offer, are going to be saying the same thing. They're probably going to have a good video or whatever. So that means that they need to see more of you right after that. And you do that by running different type of pieces of content, right? It's like you need to essentially do a machine rifle. You have to fire them with tons of content right after that, but it's a strategic that indoctrinates those leads towards working with them on that unique way that you actually help those homeowners. So it's became more competitive and tougher to actually get a homeowner to actually trust you. Right. Now, obviously, there's going to be that 1 to 3% of people that are like in so much distress and so much pain that as soon as they find someone that they can talk to and understand them real quick, like they will work with you right away.
Totally.
But not every homeowner is like that. There's tons of awareness, right?
Yeah.
And there's tons of sophistication. So after they click, you need to learn how to send them more pieces of content, whether that's email, right?
Yeah.
Whether that's also direct mail. Now using some organic media in order to put them into a funnel, right? So all of those things are the things that we're doing internally, because we also run ads to acquire clients. So we understand the behavior of Facebook ads right now and Instagram ads. So now we are applying it to our clients as well.
That's awesome. Yeah. What other forms of advertising and lead generation do you do for your clients? So like obviously Meta's one, right? A big one. You've mastered Meta. Are you doing Google? Obviously, we can talk about cold calling, right? And hiring VAs and stuff like that. I know you've mastered that at a high level. Like, what are all the different channels that you can generate a lead for somebody like me?
Yeah, I've been quite about Google ads for a long time. I've always been well known about the Meta ads guy.
And why is that?
One time one of my mentors, and actually Ken Cluder, who is one of my mentors, told me, be well known for your company to do one thing really fucking good.
Great advice.
Right? Really fucking good.
Yeah.
And I took it to heart, and that's why we do really well disruption marketing. Now, I have essentially acquired and hired very talented people now, and even way smarter than me at Google Ads.
Which is good.
And I also have a business partner that has been doing Google Ads for 15 years for real estate investors and wholesalers. And I'll talk about that because that's a new venture that we're doing. Now, that one will be known as something else. But, Hustle Media is well known as the disruption marketing, right? So video ads, static ads, funnels, everything has to do with paid advertising with Meta. But we now also have this expertise that I brought in by hiring and partnering up with my business partner on search, on search. So my business partner has been running a lead generation pay-per lead company for many years, maybe about 7 years. But he's never scaled. He's never had like that muscle to scale it, but he's really good at that, okay? And he runs Bing ads, Yahoo ads, Google ads, everything as search, right? So when we met, he was called Liberty Leads, right? I don't know if you ever heard of Liberty Leads.
I don't think I have.
So Liberty Leads been in the game for a long time. And I was like, dude, I want to add another product to my product line. And I know that there's a huge opportunity for people to come in and have quote unquote easier access to our deliverables and to our really good service. How about we scale this pay-per-lead company and build something great, not good, just great, and we ultimately also rebrand it.
Yeah.
Okay. And most of those leads will be Google, and you take care of that. Okay. I mean, the marketing that I do, I still will attract people that want to buy this thing, but how about we do that? So we partner up and we're developing a software called GetSellers.io, and it's mainly going to be search ads. Yes, we will add, disruption marketing ads, Facebook, Instagram ads. We will add cold email ads. We will add AI cold calling ads. Cold calling, all that stuff, in order for people to buy leads in there. But for now, we're going to be search. All right. And we're going to do something that people don't do and never have done, because I do it internally for my clients, which is booking the appointment for my client. Right. Going above and beyond that extra step to finding that marketing qualified lead for that client that wants to get better results or live transfer. So that's where we're going to
And that separates you big time.
Yes.
Right? Because, I mean, your average agency out there, they do the bare minimum, right? Like, you see so many guys out there. The space is interesting, right? Because there's guys like you that are really good at what you do. And then there's guys that are really bad at what they do, right? And they say they're really good, but they're actually really bad. And people like me have to be careful, right? Because, you need to make sure that you're talking to somebody that knows what they're doing, right? Because it's something that, like, I would never try to do it. I would never try to do what you do because it's not what I'm good at, right? What I'm good at is closing deals, right? And so I think it's super important for everybody listening, to be taking notes of like, hey, who's going to be really good, and obviously they should reach out to you, right? So with that being said, you're branching, obviously Hessel Media does all the Meta, okay? Mm-hmm. You're now pivoting, you're doing some of the Google, right? Yahoo, Bing, stuff like that. Let's talk a little bit about cold calling, right? Because I think cold calling is another thing that I've seen a lot of people do wrong. I'm very familiar with VAs. I'm very familiar with, we have a ton of VAs that work between my companies. Dude, I'll bet you right now, between my companies, I'll bet you we have 50 full-time, maybe 40 full-time VAs.
Nice.
Which is wild,
From where?
What's that?
Where are they from?
They're kind of all over. They're from mostly the Philippines, but we have some in, where else? Venezuela, I think we have some. Maybe some in Colombia. Are there VAs in Colombia?
Yes.
I feel like we have some that are from there, but a lot of them are from the Philippines.
Yes.
So obviously your company's called Remote Latinos. Mm-hmm. Tell me a little bit about that company. And is that a separate company from Wholesale Media?
Yeah, so that grew to be a separate company.
Okay.
So before I got into the real coaching, I wanted to do everything. Mm-hmm. Okay, just to let you know, and then Kent Clothier was just like, dude,
one thing.
Yeah. So
I love Kent, by the way.
I love him.
Good dude.
Yeah. Great. He so I used to find problems for clients, and I wanted to try to solve them as systemized, as fast, as automated as possible. Right. We literally internally we set up our clients' CRM because majority of people don't have anything, and that's a huge hiccup and bottleneck. Internally, we also train our clients in sales when they need it, or their team or their internal team. Sure, because it's literally needed.
It was make it or break it.
Yes.
If you give somebody the best lead in the world, and they don't know how to get on the phone with them and convert that lead, it makes you look bad.
Yes.
So you may as well teach them that next step of like, hey, if you're not great at sales, let us show you.
Yes.
Yeah,
so
I love that.
We are obviously a lead generation company, but inside we do customized journeys for our clients, depending on where they are. And I love that. And at the same time, I hate it because I don't want to be portrayed as that agency that does work for newbies.
Right.
Because we do all this other stuff, right? So it's been like kind of like a fine line that I have to play whenever I market myself, right? But one of the biggest issues of clients where they were pausing their campaigns is like, dude, I'm way too busy right now.
Right.
Like, pause my campaign, and I'm like, okay. Fuck, why are you busy?
Right.
Because I can't follow up with all these leads. I have so many appointments. I have too much to do.
Great problem to have.
Great problem. And then I used to send them to all these outsourcing companies or VA agencies from the Philippines. And then I started getting some feedbacks like, really, they didn't really have the greatest people, the greatest service. And I'm like, it always bothers me when people don't really care about their customers.
Agreed.
As I do. Okay, I care a lot, and I was like, okay, let me see if I can do something internally. Let's see if the team can do something. It was a pain in the ass to do it internally. Okay, so but thankfully I was part of a mastermind. This is why it's also good of mastermind. And then this guy used to have a company called using freaking awesome virtual assistants, and from the Philippines. Yeah, and I saw him that he really cared, and he took all my advice about start hiring in Latin America. I gave him some candidate boards that exist out there for him to do reach outs. And he started getting results. He got results to me. He found me a media buyer from the Philippines. But then I told him, dude, like there's a lot of talent in Latin America that are not really VAs. They're like professionals. Right. Like in Asia, in Philippines, people go to school to become a virtual assistant. Sure. In Latin America, that doesn't exist. They're unaware of that. They just get a degree, they get professional, they start working, they learn English by themselves because it's not even a second language. In Philippines, it's a second language. So I know the grit and the hard work and effort of my people, go hire them. And then he started really getting really good results for his clients.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I'll send you my clients, like 30 in like a month and a half. And I was like, dude, like, do you like that? Like, let's do 50-50.
Right. Yeah.
And
that was funny.
yeah, and back then it was way cheaper than it is right now.
Yeah.
But it was like, dude, close. And I was like, I don't really like using Fava, man.
Yeah.
I was like, let's do something different.
Yep.
And let's repackage it. That's when we came up with like remote Latinos.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And so explain to me and the viewers, what exactly does Remote Latinos do? Is it like a placement company? So if like I come to you, like obviously all my listeners know I own one of the largest wholesale companies in the nation. You saw it out there, right?
That's massive.
They're out there doing deals. And then we own one of the largest retail real estate teams in the nation. Okay, we're nationwide. This year, between just those two companies alone, we'll do about $1 billion in sales. Okay, in real estate, sales. And multiple eight figures, so really cool, right? So if I came to you and I was like, hey, bro, I need a VA, right? Like if I want to work with Remote Latinos, what would that company do for me?
Yeah, so we're different than a lot of the agencies out there that they charge per hour, or they charge you like a monthly retainer and they mark up the salary. We really want you to take ownership of these individuals and hire them actually inside of your business. That's been our model. And as to be honest, the competitors that we have, they grew really, really big in that model. The recruitment business is like a multi-billion-dollar industry.
Huge.
So, and 12% is remote professionals. So we're still part of it, right?
Yeah.
And we will charge a percentage of the yearly salary of that person.
Okay.
So right now it ranges depending on the role. From if it is tech, it is about 20% of the yearly salary if it is the tech person. But if it's other roles, it's about 30 to 35%. Of the yearly salary. So we will charge you how much they will earn in a year based on what you actually specify with us and specify with the candidate. And we don't make money off the person's salary or whatever. They pay directly. So we want to encourage you to become that CEO that you need to be and build those systems internally. We want to work with really people that already have that. To be honest.
That have a robust process.
Not just that. You're going to just pay a monthly thing and you're going to treat your VA as a service and never going to talk to that person.
Yeah, you want them a part of your family.
Exactly.
Right.
I don't know how you do it right now, but I'm assuming it's like that.
Yeah, it totally is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, dude, we send our VAs, like all of our VAs are literally a part of our family. They're a part of our team. Right? Because they're people, like literally my wife, you met her a minute ago. She has a VA that, one of our 40 that we have between all of our companies that works for her, so reports to her, right? It's almost like her executive assistant. She helps, booking, she helps scheduling, management of the calendar, posting content, writing captions, like all kinds of stuff, right? She's like a social media executive assistant, right? And she's been with me for 5 years, that VA. And literally when it's her birthday, we tell her happy birthday, right? We'll buy her a gift on Amazon and have it delivered to her house in the Philippines, right? A present or whatever, right? Because, she's a part of the family, right? When we do a Zoom call, she's on the Zoom call, right? We talk to her like she's, one of us. And I think that's that's what you're getting at, right?
Yeah. 100%.
It's like you want people that will treat their VAs like that.
100%.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, also Fortune 500 companies, they have been operating like this for lots of years.
Yeah.
They just have they just open up an office down there.
Yep.
Right. So I want to make sure that people understand the capabilities that Latinos have and how much revenue they can generate and how many profits they can actually keep. And it's been great with our companies. Like we've actually placed for like I kid you not, like there was this team from EXP that has 2,000 real estate agents.
Wow.
And they essentially hired us, and I was like, wow, like that's pretty impressive. And now we're getting hired. Like Go High Level was one of our first clients, for example. And we gave him the first ever Colombian, 37th employee that they ever had. And then Go High Level literally is remote. And they have over 2,000 employees across the world. And I think every year they do a retreat where they bring in all these employees from around the world. And they, for example, they just came back from, what's this island that, anyways, an island here in the Caribbean. And my cousin went there. He got flown out, and then he came to visit me in Miami. And a year before that, they went to Japan. Like that was
so cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So I appreciate those people that work remotely, and I want them to be part of the team as much as building an office. And don't get me wrong, I'm not against office. All right, I actually want to have an office at least for my sales team, because I think that'll be very beneficial for our companies and like explode even more. Like I think the reason why our companies, one of the few reasons why our companies don't grow as fast as we need to is because we may not have that sales floor in house. Right? But that's okay. We will get to that point. We've proven that the system works. And some people don't get to work the remote system because it's hard sometimes, right? But we put together a lot of things in order to make it work.
Super cool.
Yeah.
How many people come to you to get cold call VAs, like wholesalers and guys that want lead generating VAs? So for people watching, what that means is, people will skip trace data, right? You buy data, okay? Like it could be whatever type of data you want to buy through batch or wherever, right? Skip trace that data. So get the phone numbers and contact information for those human beings that own houses, right? And then you have VAs cold call that data and essentially try to set that appointment for a closer to get that deal under contract. And then whatever their exit strategy is, right? They sell that deal, wholesale it, flip it, keep it as a rental, burst strategy, whatever, right? So you were saying a minute ago that you have different tiers of how much you charge based on their annual salary, depending on the niche that you're hiring for. So like tech, right, et cetera, et cetera. How many people would you say come to you for the cold call niche?
So anything that has to do with like appointments or doing cold outreach is about 60% of what we actually hire.
Wow.
Right?
So that's a lot.
But that includes cold callers, appointment setters, SDRs, includes that.
What's an SDR?
Sales direct representative.
Cool.
So that's
like a higher level.
Yes, and it's very well, it's used in the tech world as well as, that higher level cold caller that has more skills and so on. They can also do sales and stuff like that. So that's kind of like 60% of it. The other percentages are video editors, social media, closers. Like, believe it or not, we can find closers.
Explain that one. Social media closers. What do you mean by that?
No, social media people. So people that do help you with content, video editing, and also closers.
Okay, got it.
So it takes more time to find them, but we're able to find them. People that either have worked in the in the real estate industry, wholesaling industry, roofing industry as a closer, as a remote closer, and they live in Latin America. Some of them are also expats or people that have been deported, and they end up honing into sales. And so they actually get hired. And so those are kind of like the main roles. Another big one that we actually have, it's being asked a lot, but it's very tough to actually find. You may, this may be relevant to you, but finding executive assistants, it's tough.
So hard. So hard. Because they have to be a jack of all trades.
Yes.
Right? They have to be really good at everything.
Yes.
Good at everything, right? Yeah, executive assistants are even hard to find right here in America. Like a good one, I think they're just hard to find in general.
I've been through 7.
I probably had 5.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. In the last 11 years. Which is kind of wild. So is your number one, who's the avatar of the majority of your clients, right? Like, are they mostly wholesalers? Are they real estate investors? Like, I'm sure you do it for, you provide all these services for a lot of different industries, right? But who's kind of your main avatar that you have?
we recently did like a monthly review on this, and I believe it was 60 to 70% were real estate.
Okay. Some type of real estate.
Yeah, because we market a lot in real estate.
Sure.
Well known now in the real estate. But they're also those 60 to 70% are the biggest headaches as well.
Right. And do you think that's just because real estate people just are, a lot of them are, they're lazy, they don't know what they're doing, they're not good at sales? Like, are those some of the reasons why?
And they have an inflated ego.
Right.
You know, a lot of the times.
Yep.
You know, I mean, we have...
They think they're better than they really are.
Yeah.
Right.
I moved from real estate agents to real estate wholesalers, and that's a better move.
Wholesalers are better than agents.
I believe
I
so.
could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Agents
I know you have a realty too. So.
No, but I mean, I have no problem saying it, right?
Okay, yeah.
Real estate agents, I mean, at the end of the day, if you just look at the landscape of real estate agents, you know, they're not, you know, you're, unfortunately, the barrier of entry to be a real estate agent is just too low. So, you know, the industry attracts so many people that they just probably don't have what it takes. And that's why the failure rate is so high, right? And so then they always want the easy. They think that if they call a guy like you, that, you know, they're just going to make $1 million a year and they don't have to do any work, right? And I see it all the time, dude. Like, they're lazy. You know, they have a hot lead sitting right in their CRM and they don't freaking call it. I'm like, dude, call the lead. Like, speed to lead. Like, get on the freaking phone. You know, you have money sitting in your CRM. Like, what are you doing, right? Or they don't follow up. It's like, it's unbelievable.
I know, because they're not prepared to do business.
Right.
And really, the most successful ones are the ones that actually take it as a business.
Sure.
You know, that's what I've seen. The conversations that I used to have with real estate agents compared to wholesalers back in the day before I did the shift were like so big. Like,
Yeah.
real estate agents have this classic quote. I've been in the industry for 20 years.
Yeah.
And I know what I'm doing.
Yep.
But how much money are you making?
Right.
Oh, no, just like, you know, a couple houses. I'm like, what? How does that make sense? Like, you've been in the industry for 20 years and you haven't had results. There's nothing to brag about.
No.
So, but wholesalers have a different mindset. Thankfully, there's really good people that have really great education. Do you have an education company?
We do, but we don't. It's not my main focus. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
Yeah. So I do teach wholesalers, but it's probably a topic for a different day. But I basically we just make way more money doing the actual business, right? Like, there's so many gurus out there, unfortunately, that just make make all their money teaching it and they don't even do it, or they don't do it at a high level, right? And we do it at such a high level that, like, I've just found that when I double down on coaching, for me, it's just not nearly as lucrative as just doubling down on the actual business of wholesaling. You know,
I love that.
But I love helping people. So that's where it's a catch-22, right? Because, like, I've obviously have a passion for helping people, but from a business and financial perspective, it doesn't actually make a lot of sense for me.
Yeah.
You know,
in Florida, I've met only 2 players, and there's more, that have scaled over 10 mil a year on their wholesaling flipping business. One is selltobobby.com. I don't know if you ever heard of them.
That sounds really familiar.
Yeah, he has lots of TV ads, lots of, you know, radio, lots of advertising. Does really good marketing. And the other one was Property Force back when it used to exist, basically. And I even went inside of their headquarters, and I got to see they had like 60 when they were scaling, ramping up everything, like 60 acquisition managers.
Dang.
And before all the crazy thing happened.
Yeah, that's really crazy.
Yeah.
So I have a question for you. You know, if a wholesaler is watching this show right now and they want to do direct to seller marketing, okay? They want to generate leads, right? They want seller leads that they can talk to, close, and sell those deals to cash buyers, right? That's what wholesaling is. And they couldn't do it all, right? Like, they maybe can't afford it or whatever. They maybe have a couple grand a month or $5,000 a month or $10,000 a month or whatever, right? You know, between Meta and Google and cold callers and all the different ways that you see out there to generate leads, which would be the one? I know it's hard because you own all the companies, right? So you're like, they're all good, right? And I'm sure they are. But what's like that one where you're like, I would start here?
I mean, what's their how much money do they have access to in the next?
I don't
6
know,
months?
maybe 5 or 10K, let's say.
In what market do you think?
They could be anywhere in the country.
Okay.
Yeah.
And 5 to 10K a month?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anywhere in the country?
Mm-hmm.
I would start with Google coupled with Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah. It's almost always like it takes a little bit longer to get Google dialed in than Facebook. Like I can put a campaign on Facebook and within 24, 48 hours I already have appointments coming in.
Wow.
Right? And then we just need to stabilize it, get feedback loops going, and then optimize it real well. But with Google, and that's gonna be determined by what's gonna be our target cost per lead, target cost per contract, and our lead to deal ratio, and obviously what can you do as a wholesaler to fulfill on these seller needs,
sure,
right? Because you'll find people that are looking to sell their house. They have a pretty house, and they also are looking at other companies that they Googled.
Yeah.
Right. And so you have to be able to have an advantage on your offer as well, an advantage on your nurturing process and the sales process, and an advantage on, I call it the big four, right? Your exit strategies and offer differentiator, your sales skills and tools and process that you have, the follow-up, nurture, and reactivation systems that you have created, and the mindset. But I always tell people that have the budget like that to start with Google coupled with Facebook.
Okay.
And so before, when people start with Facebook, I tell them like, you would start at $100 to $150 a day on Facebook, depends on the market where you are.
Sure.
To get a contract at least at $1,000, okay, or less than $1,000. Now, if you're in a local campaign or compared to like a nationwide campaign, it differentiates. You can get contracts really cheap, but your cancellation or success ratio on those contracts will be much lower.
Sure.
But if you're in a local one, then you'll have a higher one. So, but you'll be able to pay more for a contract. So with Facebook, it's that minimum. Yes, some people get results with like $60 a day, $50 a day, but I set up my clients for success. I prefer that they invest more and they are more busy, they have more opportunity than just, and I also attracts people that are not bullshit.
Right.
So I want them to start with a really good one. And with that amount, $100 a day to $150 a day, we'll get to our first 1 or 2 contracts that a month. All right.
That's
and
awesome.
with Google, $5,000 to $6,000. I wouldn't do less than that.
You won't even do it.
No, I wouldn't even do it.
It's not worth it, right?
It's not worth it.
Yeah.
And some markets are even way more tougher than other ones. So I wouldn't even do it if it is not $5,000 to $6,000 a month. And that they have a long-term commitment.
Yeah, because Google's that one thing where like, if you don't do it for 6 months, then don't do it at all.
Correct.
Right? Like, I feel like that's like a known thing for guys like you and me, right? Like anytime you turn on Google, too many people do Google and they do it for 3 months and then they give up and it's like, well, you didn't do it long enough. Like you didn't, you gotta, Google's one of those things that's like the long game, right?
Yes.
So you probably won't even work with people that won't do it for, like if they can't afford to do it for 6 months without making any money, then it's like, you're probably not a good fit.
Google is one of the most scalable channels that you can have out there because you can literally put in a lot more money with less diminishing returns than Facebook. Facebook, the more money that you put in, and depending if you're in a local market, it can get to diminishing returns real fast, and the cost per lead will start going high, creep up and stuff like that. But Facebook can get you really cheap results, really cheap contracts, and so on. You have to play the long nurture follow-up game with Facebook. And your cash conversion cycle is longer.
Right.
So it's between 60 to 95 days on Facebook, while Google can be 45 to 60 days. So there is a give and take. I actually remember that friend that got me into the industry. Dude, that guy blew my mind. Because he is so good at media buying. He's so obsessed with media buying. Okay. He's the number one agency in Hyros. that gets referred.
Yep.
And he showed me the differences between Facebook and Google, like while spending literally $20,000 a day.
Wow.
And then they end up resulting that Facebook and Google were almost the same CAC, right, cost to acquire a client. They were almost the same ROI, all right? But the biggest difference was the time that it takes to get the money back in the bank.
And why is that?
Just how the platforms were made.
Right.
So one is search intent.
Yep.
And the other one is like
random.
You're getting them in a awareness level that it could be that they're fully aware that, so they are like looking at other different options and they are, hesitant or being burned out or whatever. They're problem aware, but they're not as motivated or as distressed as they need to. So it needs more nurturing. Right. And so there's different stages of awareness. One famous market talks about, and so you can get Facebook, those that are in the initial stages of awareness, and that's why it takes longer for Facebook to actually get the money.
Do you know what the cash conversion cycle timeline is for cold calling? Do you have any idea? On average?
Yeah, I've seen some stats.
I'm sure it depends on the data.
Yeah.
How good the skip tracing is. Like, I feel like with cold calling, there's a lot more variables.
Yeah, I've seen some stats from, it was a CRM presentation. I think it was ours simply. I think it was like 6 to 9 months.
Okay. So it's way longer.
Yeah, way longer.
So ultimately, Google's the quickest. Meta's the second quickest. Cold calling is the long game.
Yes,
right?
100%.
Yeah.
Yes.
Got it. When should somebody do all of the above? Like, at what point does somebody, in your opinion, say, hey, I want to, like, is it just a budget thing? Like, is it like how robust their team is, how many acquisition guys they have, how many disposition guys they have? Like, when do you say, hey, dude, you should do Meta, you should do Google, you should hire 5 cold callers, you should pull 50,000 records and skip trace it all? By the way, you need an executive assistant, VA, and you know what I mean? Like, when do you start really scaling with people?
Yeah, I have a belief that at some point, all of those channels will start feeding each other at some point.
Yeah.
But in order to get the best ROI out of that channel, like, I wouldn't do it if you're not already making, I wouldn't do multiple channels and if you're not already making $50,000, $60,000 a month on that specific channel.
Right. It goes back to what Kent Clothier said.
100%.
Right.
And then you start putting a lot of different things in different baskets. And like, there's some educators that teach like, multiple channels. But the thing is that you haven't earned the right for multiple channels just yet.
Yep.
Right? I mean, I'm pretty sure you do multiple channels right now.
We do, yeah.
But like, your numbers are...
Yeah, well, we just have a huge team, right?
Yeah.
I have a saying, it's like that, the saying that if you chase 2 rabbits, you'll catch neither. It's like, you won't, but you just have to hire somebody to catch the other rabbit, right? And so the whole idea is that, nobody can afford, when you're a solopreneur, back to what you said all along, right? You have to do one thing and become phenomenal at one thing. When you can afford and you're ready to learn how to delegate and build a team and hire people and create systems and processes and structure, right? Then and only then can you take on more things, right? Like social media messes with people's heads because it's like we get on social media and we think, oh, I can do 10 different side hustles, right? Like we get on YouTube and we're like, I could freaking, do all these different things. And it's like, it's never going to work.
Yeah. So Ken Clothier told me this. If you ever meet a person that tells you, oh man, I do this and I can do this and can help you with this too, right away you can tell the level of focus and discipline of that person. It also makes you perceive to for someone that is big, the perception is like that person is undisciplined. He's not reliable, right? His head is everywhere, which means he's nowhere.
Yep.
And, obviously that stuck with me. And I'm like, I don't want to be known by the person that does everything.
Yeah.
Right? It's kind of... Elon Musk is Elon Musk, and he does a lot. He has a lot of companies, but he's built up. He's a different level. He's always locked in.
Well, look how many employees he has between all the different companies.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, probably hundreds of thousands of employees.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's just there's different levels to the game. But I agree with you. I think, I always tell people, I'm like, as a solopreneur, you can pick one form of marketing and you can get to at least 50K a month, right? In wholesaling. I'm talking about wholesaling, right? So as a solo guy, somebody can get into real estate wholesaling, learn the game, right? Get really good at acquisitions. You know, maybe they don't even learn dispositions. Maybe they just co-wholesale to other dispo people, right? And they can get to 50K a month before they ever need to hire people, before they ever need to turn on a new marketing strategy, et cetera, right? And so I think it's important that, you know, too many wholesalers do it wrong, and they ought to start listening and taking the advice that we're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
You know, at the end of the day. So
why do you think that a lot of wholesalers just suck?
Barrier of entry. It goes back to why real estate agents suck. You know what I mean? Like it's too glamorized of an industry. You know, you get on YouTube, you get on Instagram or TikTok, and everybody and their mom is talking about how easy it is. Oh, make 20 grand signing a contract, right? And they make it seem too easy. And people, I think unfortunately, and by the way, I don't think it's just wholesaling or real estate agents. I think it just is the world we live in, right? I think the world that we live in today, there's too much information. There's too many people online talking the talk, right? And everybody has that microwave mentality of I want it and I want it now. You know, nobody, you know, back in the day, it's like, dude, when I got into entrepreneurship, like all my mentors were like, Austin, it's going to take you at least a decade before you're even remotely successful, right? Like that was the expectation. Now people think they can do it in 90 days. Right. And it's like you haven't earned the ability to make $1 million a year in 90 freaking days. Right. Like I've started like over 12 companies, you know, and it's taken 11 years of me being a full-time entrepreneur working over 100 hours a week to get to where I'm at today. And I think people just need to be patient. That's my opinion.
How do you personally do it with like all this companies and brands that you've had? Mm-hmm. Like don't you sometimes go crazy, or how do you do it?
Well, so, and I'll ask you the same thing after, because I would say you and me are pretty similar, right? You have multiple things that you're doing now. You weren't always that way. You mastered meta, and that's kind of what I did, right? I mastered wholesaling. And then I became a real estate agent, right? And then I mastered the game of retail real estate and running that company and integrating those two companies together, right? And then all the ancillary companies just started to happen over time, right? You have the media company, title company, insurance company. We're getting into home services right now. So we're about to start launching that, right? And so you have, you know, the education company, obviously we had a flipping company, you know, so, but again, it all comes down to your ability to delegate, your ability to hire amazing talent, right? People who are better than you are at a specific task, right? You know, Cody Sanchez talks about you have generalists and you have specialists, right? And when you're scaling a company, a lot of times in the beginning, you can't afford to have a specialist in every role because you're just not making enough money. So we tend as entrepreneurs to hire generalists, people that wear multiple different hats and do multiple different roles. They're not great at any one thing, but they're just an extra pair of hands. There's somebody that is there to help you as you continue to delegate and scale. And over time, your revenue increases and you're able to start hiring specialists, right? This is where I think entrepreneurship gets a lot of fun, because now you're at a level where you're hiring people at a very specific role, and they're actually better than you are at that role, right? And to answer your question, I think that is how I do what I do, right? I have, you know, between all of our companies and real estate agents, we have well over 500 people. And you know, I have a lot of people that are a lot better than me, right? And I'm really good at delegating, and I understand how to run high-level meetings and stuff like that. And so it allows you to, like, I can be here doing this, you know, for an hour and a half, however long we go. And I know for a fact that all my companies are going to continue to run no problem, like no problem at all, right? So I don't know, you know, I think, and I'd love to ask you the same question, but I think when you're scaling, you kind of know the right time to get to a point where you can take on more stuff.
Yeah.
Like I turned down home services for like 2.5 years. I've been wanting to get into home services for a while.
What would Alex Ramosi say?
What would he say?
I mean, I'm asking you, what do you think he would say? Like if you were to sit down in front of him and then, you know, you want to grow it to, I don't know, 30 million, 50 million, whatever. What do you think he would say?
For home services in particular?
No, for like your companies. Yeah.
Well, I'm not entirely sure. What I know is this, that I've gotten my companies currently to a point where they do not require my attention, right? Like I have management that is incredible. I have business partners that are spectacular, and I have a big enough team to where I literally, if I wanted to right now, and I'm not kidding you, I could go lay on an island for a year, turn my phone completely off, and I'm at a point where I actually can guarantee you that my companies would be bigger when I got home than they were when I left.
Nice.
And so I don't know what Alex would say, but what I do know is that is when I knew that it was the time for me to go start more companies.
Yes.
Right? Until you're at that point, you're not ready.
Yeah.
If you can't walk away for a year and your company's not fall apart, you're not ready to do anything else. And that's just what my advice would be to anybody watching, right? And it was that way for a long time for me. 2 years ago, I wouldn't have been able to say that. That's why I didn't start any more companies. That's why I just focused on the main thing, right? I was really good at real estate. We were amazing at, this year we're going to sell 2,000 houses.
Nice.
Right? Between both those companies. That's a lot of houses, so I'm talking closing 2,000 deals.
Nice.
Per year, per calendar year. Our goal next year is to close 5,000 deals.
That's amazing.
Right? And so anyways, but I want to flip it over to you, right? How have you been able to, grow Hustle Media, Remote Latinos, right? All of these different companies. What has allowed you to be able to do that?
Finding great partners.
Yeah.
I think that's the key.
Mm-hmm.
When I try to do it internally and with my team, I actually try to empower my team members to become entrepreneurs.
Mm-hmm.
They don't really work.
Yeah.
It works sometimes for some people, but
sure.
It depends on the hire that you actually do. So it's really great partnerships and learning how to deliver surgical, strategic value to that partnership so that they continuously grow, right? I know for sure if I wanted to make Remote Latinos a $15, $20 million company like our competitors do per year, I will have to be only on remote Latinos, right? But right now, that's a sacrifice that I'm willing to make because I am growing this company that I have been having for 6 years that gave birth to Remote Latinos. And at some point, I do want to exit, right? I do want to find the right buyer. But I know because Alex Ramosi told me, dude, you have this big vision with Remote Latinos, but the truth is that you're not there. It's only your business partner, and your business partner can only do so much. Yeah. So, and between the companies, you can make all the companies do $10, $20 million in between all of them. But if you want one to make, it depends on the vehicle. But if you want one to make that amount, then you have to be inside of that company and remove the other ones. That's basically why he said. Yeah. But yeah, I think it's if you're able to get great partners, there is an opportunity for that. Now that also can become distraction too. Yeah. So you have to be very good at putting the right amount of time on this, because I know that every single time that I go to Remote Latinos and we do a shift on branding, marketing, and the way that we acquire clients, which thankfully every single time that has worked. So every single week I come in and I put my injections. We get more clients, we get better. Sure. Things like that, right? Omir is a great operator. He's a great CEO. He's a great culture person. People love him. If I were there in Remote Latinos, we'll probably crumble because
right. Yeah. Because he's that good.
Yeah, he's that good.
Right. Now, how do you find a great partner, in your opinion? What are you looking for in a great partner?
Oh, dude, I make them do a lot of tests. But you can almost tell whenever you connect with the person.
Yeah, if you're being honest with yourself.
Yes. 100%.
And you don't get too excited.
Yes, 100%. Yeah. And then once you connect with the person, you make them do crystallizer tests. You make them do so that one is by Rocket Fuel, which people have. I don't know.
I'm familiar. Yeah. We run level 10. Yeah, we run L10. We run all that. We run EOS. Yeah, and 2 of our companies right now.
Yes. Yeah, I love that. I run crystallizer tests, love language tests, personality test.
I like the love
this
language
test.
one. Yeah.
Yes, all that stuff. And then we date. You know, we date for at least 90 days to see how it goes. I've failed partnerships with wholesaling.
Same.
You know, so but at least it was a good try.
Yeah.
But you don't get into like something too. You don't get terms. You don't put contracts until like you show that both people are pulling the weight at sites that grow in different ways, right?
Sure.
So, for example, right now, my business partner for GetSellers.io, even though it's a lead generation company, it's a different product. And the way that they buy it is differently. And we dated for 90 days.
Wow.
Now we're building a technology so that it helps social media clients, but we'll be able to sell the leads through that technology.
That's super cool.
Yeah. So, and the 90 days that we've been dating, and, you know, the amount of time that we've been dating, like every single time that we meet, we get things done, get shit going. You know, company moves forward. Like it's always great. We did all this testing. He's a big integrator guy, right? And I am a big visionary guy. Okay, and even though I have a lot of parts of
you have integrator tendencies.
I do.
I can tell.
Yes.
Yeah, they say that's really rare.
Yeah.
When you look at EOS, I mean, I'm sure you've read Rocket Fuel and Traction and all the books. They say, you know, there's only a small percentage of people who are pretty good at both, right? You'll still lean one direction more than the other, which it sounds like you lean visionary.
Yeah.
But you are a great integrator because I think that's where the engineering background comes into play and stuff like that, which is really cool. Because at least you understand it, so then you can, you know, when you delegate that, you understand you understand the vision. Not only do you have the vision, but you understand how to execute that vision. You're just having your integrator actually do the execution.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, super important.
So, yeah, I mean, that's the way I've been doing it. I don't have a perfect formula.
Yeah.
I'd love to get your insights on that, to be honest.
My biggest one, dude, you know, I've had a lot of failed partnerships. You know, we will, my goal within 2 years is to get to, you know, probably $100 million a year in revenue between all the companies. So at the holding company level, within 24 months, you know, from right now, 36 at the most, that's kind of like our time frame that we're aiming for, is to get to $100 million a year in revenue. Now I have a lot of different partners in different companies, right? And so when it comes to me and what I've been able to do, it's all people, it's all partners, that's all it is, right? Like at the end of the day, like a great partner will make it or break it for you. You know what I mean? Like if you get a bad partner, you're screwed, right? And I've done that. I know, you know, the number one thing I look for is, aside from all the normal, because it's like, obviously you want them to know what the hell they're doing. Obviously, if you're a visionary, you're looking for an integrator, right? Like I feel like that stuff is so obvious, you know. You're looking for people that have the skill set that would make them a great partner, right? But above all of that, in my opinion, is where's their heart at? Like, who are they as a human being? What do they do on the weekend? Are they married? Are they single? How long have they been married? Do they have kids? You know, do they go to church? How often do they go to church? Do they pray? Could we pray before our partner meetings? Could I sit in a partner meeting and pray, right? You know, could we, like, and those are the things that have made great partnerships for me, right? Because they're not scorekeepers, right? You don't want a partner who's a scorekeeper. You know what I mean? It's not going to work, right? And I would tell that to anybody, you know, because at the end of the day, one person in every season of building a company, one person is always going to do more, right? It'll change over time, but like you might have a season where I'm doing all the heavy lifting and it appears like my partner is just kind of hanging out. And then in the next season, he's doing all the heavy lifting and I feel, and it's perceived that I'm hanging out, right? And obviously that's not true, but if you have a scorekeeper, somebody who's like, what are you doing? You know, and they're keeping score, it's going to fail. Yeah. It's going to freaking blow up in your face, right? You need genuine, good-hearted people.
It's the same as marriage, I think.
Same as marriage.
You know?
Yep.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
And I think it's more important to pick a good partner in business. It's equally, let me say it's equally as important, if not more, but I think equal, to pick a good partner in business and a good partner to spend your life with, because we work the majority of our lives, right? Like when you really think about it, we sleep 8 hours a day. Well, guys like you and me work 10 or 12 hours a day, and you don't have a lot of time left over, so, and then when you get a divorce in business, it's just as freaking complicated, man, because you have all this equipment, you have, heavy machinery, maybe you have trucks on the road, you have offices, you have employees. How do you split all that up? What does the buyout look like, right? It's very complicated.
Oh yeah.
So that's my opinion.
I agree. Women would not agree with you though.
Maybe not. No, and that's why I said equal. Right? It's equally as important.
Yes.
Because obviously the person you marry is super freaking important too. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying
your wife.
It's up there with It's up there with that though. You know what I mean? Like you want to make sure that you put as much care into picking a business partner as you do picking a life partner.
Yes.
Because one can also screw up the other too. You got to keep that in mind, right? A bad business partner can mess up your freaking marriage, because you're all messed up in the head and you're trying, like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then a bad marriage can mess up a business because you're coming to work with not a clear mind, right? And so it's like they're both so important, man.
Oh yeah.
I wanted to ask you too, Esteban, talk to me about AI, right? You do a lot with Google and Meta, obviously. What is the future of lead generation with AI in your opinion? Where do you see that going? Let me give you an example. If I go onto ChatGPT right now and I say, who's the best real estate agent in Scottsdale, Arizona? AI will tell me a person, right? Do you think that the future is going to go that direction? Like, are people going to go to ChatGPT or to Grok to find their pest control company, to find their HVAC guy? And if so, how do guys like you get out in front of that and monetize that so that you can be at the forefront of that evolution?
100%. So we actually have been already getting users and clients using from ChatGPT. People that searched us, and it's a specific search that they have done, and then they submit a form. Like we found a lawyer found us and then hired from us, Remote Latinos.
Really?
And this is without putting an effort into the SEO part of ChatGPT or LLM. Mm-hmm. And I think LLM or LMM, whatever. My SEO guy knows. And so as soon as we started doing that, I started getting noticed and leads from ChatGPT. We're like, dude, I need you to go all in into figuring out OpenAI and like ChatGPT, like how we're going to show up more. And the website, how are we going to actually build it, and the content that we put out there, like whether we need to pump more, whether we need to like be more specific, like. So we are figuring that out because we know that that's going to happen, right? Like that's for SEO. Like at some point, have you ever seen the Black Mirror episodes?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Where it's like, they're gonna, if you want, let's say, to connect to an ultra AI brain superpower, you'll be able to do it in a subscription. Yeah. Right. But some subscriptions are with paid ads.
Right. Right.
So you either are going to think that or you're going to say it out loud as part of you making you a smarter superhuman, right? And so that idea itself is out there with shows like series like that. It's called Black Mirror, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that at some point you would have things like that. I always and I always dream. I dream about the future a lot. Okay, so I always dream that there's gonna be people. Every household is gonna have a robot. Yep. And every robot will have specialties. Yep. Because it's kind of like everything. Like you can't just be good at everything. Sure. Because you're not honed into that. But some robots will have specialties, or will have firmwares or softwares, or like, or it's not chips, but let's say a superpower that you unlock. And that one, it's going to be the specialty of doing media, and building a company like Austin Sabak. And that, Austin, you created that, powered up GPT, call it, and that robot now is using it.
Yep.
Or like a specialty of a personal trainer, and then you buy that specialty.
Yep.
Right. And so I think that it's going to go that way. In terms of lead gen, AI cold calling is going to be here.
Yep.
For sure. It's already here in a way, in a shape or form. With SMS, it's very risky right now.
Yeah.
But AI cold calling, it's definitely here. I have had tons of conversations and seen different tests of people that already are using lead managers and closers that are AI as a test.
Wow.
Right? So they were like, hey, call this phone.
Yep.
And, this one is trained to be a lead manager. And then there's not much latency. It talks like a human, pronounces, paces, tones up like a human. And then homeowners will not notice.
No, they won't. No. In what time frame do you think? When does it get that good, in your opinion?
I think in 2 years.
2 years?
It's going to be really good. Yeah.
What about everybody having a robot? 5 years?
5 years.
Yeah.
I'm already thinking about buying a robot.
Same.
Yeah.
If I could buy one right now, I would.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
I went to a Tesla store and I was like, hey, how can I?
They're like, not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah. Dude, Tesla stock, bro. You got to buy some Tesla stock.
Yeah, right now?
Well, I mean, just in general. Because, I mean, what people don't realize is that Tesla stock is so much more than a vehicle.
Yes.
Right? It's autonomous driving. It's robo-taxi. It's, the robotics, right? And I mean, I think that the next 10 years are going to be wild.
Yeah. I want to buy my dad a robo-taxi business.
Dude.
I want to build it for him.
It's a phenomenal idea.
Right? Like,
think about that for a second. Like, look at all the Turo guys, okay? That you've seen them, right?
Or the Venmo?
Yeah.
The
Waymo, yeah. But I'm saying, look at the guys that on YouTube and stuff that own Turo companies. So they have they just rent out their cars, right? And I know guys that have scaled that pretty big, right? They have 50 cars that they Turo, they rent out. Imagine when you have 50 Teslas and they're all just out there driving for you.
No human.
I mean, dude, it's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
I own 2 Teslas, and I mean, they already fully drive.
Which one do you own?
I own the Plaid, the Model S Plaid, and then I own the Model Y Performance.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Cybertruck.
No.
Yeah.
I was going to get a Cybertruck. I actually had pre-ordered one like 3 years ago or something, and then I got impatient about the Model S Plaid, and then I ended up buying a Duramax, like a big high country, like a diesel truck, and I actually ended up just selling that, and now I just have like an Escalade for an SUV, but my Model S Plaid is my daily driver. Yeah,
Nice.
I love that
Dude,
car.
I love my Cyber Beast.
Dude, you have a Cyber Beast?
Yeah, it's so fun, man.
Really? Dude, I want to get one because I have 2 Tesla chargers at home. Like, it makes sense. Like, I could have one, My only thing is, like, do they have a lot of problems or not really?
No, the only problem I got was like 2 weeks in,
Uh-huh.
there was a hater that crashed into my house, to my car.
Ah,
I know, dude.
intentionally?
I think so. Yeah.
Wow.
The way it looked like, it was a hit and run, and it was in my building. During that time, like.
Did it do any damage? Because I know the Cybertrucks there.
It was like $10,000
Really?
damage, bro. Like,
wow.
Yeah, I know.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Insurance covered it, but
Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
No bueno.
2 weeks in with my Tesla, and I'm like out for
That's
like
crazy.
2 months.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit, as we're starting to kind of wrap up here, what's your 5-year goal, right? Like, with all these different companies, which one is your, maybe it's all of them, but like, what do you, obviously a little while ago, you were talking about like 15 to 20 million in revenue in one company. That's a lot of revenue, right? Like, what is that goal? What does it look like for you? What are you trying to scale? What's your baby right now?
So right now, Hustle Media has been always my baby, right?
Uh-huh.
And it's been hard the moment I was like consulting with acquisition, and they basically told me, sell Hustle Media right now and go on Remote Latinos and become the CEO, and Omir can do something else. I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Like, 2 days, you do this diagnosis, you don't know us just yet, and I'm not going to do that just yet. Like, I think that would have been pretty disruptive.
Sure.
For us, especially because I know he can always level up more as a CEO and like take us to new heights too. But I do want to have a way that at some point I either sell the media company, the lead generation company, and then hone it into remote Latinos full time. But I want all of us to win.
Right.
I want to be purchased by someone that I actually cares, that actually, is a good buyer, all of this. And this is in the next 5 years, of course, right? So I want GetSellers.io, which is the lead generation platform that people can buy per lead or, lead packages, to grow really well and really big and get attention. And then, Hustle Media is another arm that does custom campaigns, and then be able to find a buyer that is able to get that one.
Yeah.
Okay? So that's kind of like one of our goals for my business partner, right?
Yep.
But first, we got to build the really great product,
right?
Which we do have a great service right now. Just the product itself, right? And then get as many good qualified users as possible. Not like people that are right now the pay per lead companies are in a race to the bottom.
Yeah,
they're making everything cheaper.
Yep.
Right. They're literally in a race to the bottom. They're making all this crazy like $20, $15, $30 leads.
Yep.
That they're trying to sell. They're attracting really bad people that are that are putting their company reputation. The worst part, like I've never seen. They also have wars between them, and I'm like, I don't want to be like that.
No.
I don't want to be part of that, right? I want to be different, and I've always been different. All right, and even since I was a kid, I've always been this.
Good. You have to be.
Yeah. So we're gonna be very different. We're building a very different product. It's gonna feel very different, and it's gonna fulfill and get results very differently. It's gonna be paired with a lot of AI. We're gonna build 4 assistants for that that lead generation company. Those assistants will help on the big 4 that I talk about, right? And then it's gonna make the lead gen and conversion process more seamless.
Got it.
For them, right?
That's super cool.
Yeah, so that's what I would do, because I believe even though the pay-per-lead companies you can grow really well too, and I've seen companies like what was it, Op City.
Yep. Oh yeah,
they sold to 210 million to Realtor.com. They grew insanely.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's what I want to do, right? But with remote Latinos, there's big mission there, right?
Yep.
Like we're helping people on this side of the world and people on this side of the world connect. And I think that one, it's one of the biggest things that we have done so far. One of my biggest accomplishments is building the marketplace.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen our marketplace just yet. It's app.remotelatinos.com, but it's growing pretty fast, and we haven't launched like publicly just yet.
Wow.
Maybe whenever you post this, we'll be launching, but we haven't launched, and we have over 10,000 users.
Wow.
And that company, it's already valued at like 2 million, which is not much, but it's okay. Like it's just software, literally. I mean, that platform, that part, the company itself, Remote Latinos, is valued more, but like that software.
Right.
And it has lots of case studies right now.
Really?
Like people are literally just paying $97 a month.
So what is it?
It's like an online jobs.ph, but like for Latinos.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So you pay $97 a month, or $297 right now. That's the way it works. And you post a job, or you do outreach to people that look really good. They have a video, they have a profile, they put all the accomplishments. We're doing everything much better for them to find their match.
Wow.
And
you're like Tinder for VAs.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
That's super cool.
Yes.
Yeah, because I feel like people overcomplicate it right now, like for whatever reason. Like your average entrepreneur can't. They're like, how do I pay them? How do I hire them? Like, how do I? Like, they're so confused. That's why they need people like you to help them place the VA, find the right VA with the right skill set, show them how do you pay them, like literally, how do you send them money, right? And all of those different things. Like people overcomplicate all that crap.
Yeah. And I love that we got into tech, because it sends me back into like my engineering days.
Right.
Like developing product.
Yeah.
I used to develop product for Fiat Chrysler Automotive, which is Stellantis right now. I used to develop the frames.
Yep.
For some the Rams, 2500 heavy duty, 35 all the way to 5500. And I used to work with a lot of moving parts or a lot of different products that need to connect here. And, people from India, people from the US, people from Mexico, manufacturing, like finite element analysis, crash analysis, all these things, right? And then now developing the software is very similar.
Yeah.
It's just different language, right?
Very similar.
I don't know anything about code.
Yeah.
But I can put together two people and then they'll code.
That's all that matters.
Yeah.
You're the entrepreneur. You don't need to know how to code.
Yes.
You just need to know how to hire good people.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and I've never had the need to like check on like, oh, let me see your code.
Yeah.
Now, here's what it is.
Yeah.
We're not doing like everything that we have is good development, good developers, good, team that supports the users, and that's growing by itself right now. With the same efforts that we put in for the recruiting part, we sent all that traffic there, the qualified traffic, and we put it in there because we can't fulfill just yet 100 hires a month just yet, right?
Right.
We will at some point, right? Whenever we grow bigger. But the marketplace will be able to make people's lives easier, and it's we've seen many different journeys of users. They pay $97 2 months, and then either they do well or they struggle a little bit or they never use it, and then boom, they come and book a call with us, and then they pay us our high ticket.
Wow.
So it's pretty cool.
Super cool.
Yeah.
That's going to be exciting. I'm excited for you to launch that. What's the website one more time so when we air this, people know where to find it?
app.remotelatinos.com.
Okay, .com. Cool. Dude, I feel like we could talk forever.
I know.
We've already been here for like an hour and a half. We'll go ahead and wrap, man. What is, for all the entrepreneurs and wholesalers and real estate investors out there, okay, that are watching the show, that have big dreams, they have big aspirations. They want to make a lot of money. They want to retire their family, right? They want to do all these cool things. What you and I want to do, right? Of all the masterminds that you've been in, because you've been in a lot, and all the mentors that you've had, and all the stuff that you've read, and the companies and everything like that, what is like one massive piece of advice? It could be life advice, relationship advice, business advice, but like what's one thing that has really stuck with you for all of these years that you think everybody should know that is watching the video?
To be honest, this helps with my sanity a lot. And I'm very obsessed on the long-term result, on what will happen. I know that people will be like, hey, you live now, you could die tomorrow. But in business and with like hard things, such as business and like achieving dreams and things like that, that's not how it works. Like, unfortunately, yes, you could die tomorrow, right? But if you really want to die tomorrow with all the things that you wanted to accomplish, you have to start being obsessed of that long-term journey. And don't kill yourself because you're not achieving something this month, this quarter, this year.
Right.
Now, if you're not trying your best, if you're not putting the effort, if you're not being resourceful, right? If you're not reaching out, doing the calls, asking for help and like associating yourself with the best type of people, then that's definitely not going to take you anywhere. Like if you're not doing the right things, the boring work, right? And here's the thing. People think it's boring, but if you become obsessed, it becomes fun.
Yeah, I agree. It's phenomenal advice. Yeah. Phenomenal advice. Goes back to what we were talking about a little while ago. Yeah. Esteban, I want to know where people can find you. How do they leverage your different companies? There's a lot of wholesalers that are going to see this and listen to it on all the different platforms. How do they get a hold of Remote Latinos? If they want to do meta advertising, if they want to do Google pay-per-click, what do they do?
Yes. So you can go to remotelatinos.com and find our recruiting company. That's our recruiting arm. We help with Latin Americans inside of your business. We'll put them inside of your business from marketing, sales, and also video editors if you ever need to. And we have a great marketplace, which is app.remotelatinos.com. If you're generating leads, you want to generate leads for your company, then we have the agency, which is Hazel Media. We help with meta advertising, right? We'll do custom campaigns. But we also have our pay-per-lead platform right now. It's called GetSellers.io, and we're building something super sexy for anyone to come in, just log in and start buying leads or packages of leads, and be able to get appointments and lead transfers, right? Because you want higher qualified leads, so you can close more deals. And that's what we're building. And
you're working on that right now?
Yes.
Maybe it'll be out by the time this is live.
Yes.
I hope it is. And for the Hessel Media, do you have a website?
Yep. HesselMedia.com.
HesselMedia.com.
HESEL media.com.
Perfect. Esteban, I appreciate you being on the show, man. I'm going to link everything that you just mentioned down in the description below on all platforms, okay? So Spotify, podcasts, YouTube, et cetera, all the links to all the different companies. If you want lead generation, if you want, placement of a VA in any niche, right? He said it, tech, video editors, cold callers, whatever it might be, make sure you reach out to Esteban. He truly cares about all these companies and about your success watching right now. And I can tell you with certainty, as an entrepreneur who's hired thousands of people in my career, made, multiple 8 figures, that there's a lot of people who don't care out there. So make sure you reach out to Esteban. Appreciate you being on the show, man. Yep. Hey, if you're still watching, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, comment down below, like the video, and leave a 5-star review on every platform. And I'll look forward to seeing you in the next episode.